A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Privyet, and welcome to the second week of Self-Isolation Choir Summer School. Great to see you all. Thank you so much for joining us. It's quite hot here, and I think it's the same where many of you are today. So apologies, I've been slightly detained getting on stream a little early as I normally would be, just making sure I've got a fan set up, hence the slight rattle in the background, just to ensure I don't melt in front of you. Now, I see we've got lots and lots of lovely people here. Before I say hello to as many of you as I can before we start officially at 3 o'clock, I'm just going to check that the tracks are all sounding okay. And Mark, if you would do your usual customary fantastic job of just letting me know that everything's all right, that would be greatly appreciated. Just check I can hear myself. Good, good, good. That's a good start. And let's just check this. Here's a bit of Tenebrae, ladies and gentlemen. I can't say any more than that. Here we go. Marvelous. Here's some more. And yet more. And some more. And last but not least. I don't think I need the heat in order to turn into a puddle. I just need this glorious, glorious music. So, how's that sounding, folks? That sounds all right from my end. Whoa. Well, it all sounded good through my phone. So if it sounds all right through the phone, well, then it's going to sound even better if you're listening at home on headphones. We've got the absolute full quality tracks here. None of this compressed MP3 stuff. All lossless WAVs, and my goodness me, what a sound. Now, if you're new to SIC for this course, you're very, very welcome. Thanks so much for coming along. If you've recently signed up for today, thank you very much indeed. I know a few people signed up just in the last few hours. And if you're here and you're a guest this afternoon, well, very, very warm welcome. Hope you enjoy it. And if you're in any way on the fence about signing up for this course, well, wait until you've heard these tracks and you've heard everything I've got to say about the music and about all the support we've got in place to learn the words as well. And then do consider signing up, because honestly, ladies and gentlemen, this is some of the most sublime music we've ever learnt on SIC. It is just, it's the closest I think we've come, with maybe one exception, that being Quanta Qualia. It's the closest we've come to a full orchestral sound, but from the choir. It really is just such a special week of music. I can't wait to get stuck in. But here we go. I'm going to say hello to as many people as I can manage. Now I'm going to pop out the chat here and see who's here. Now, I know I've got lots of people watching who aren't in the comments, and a particular hello to you and a very good afternoon. I hope you are looking forward to this as much as I am, because my goodness me, fabulous music. But I shall say hello to everyone who's currently commenting, and apologies if I miss you off. This list can move quite quickly sometimes. So here we go. I'm going to read from the top. So hello to Anna, hello to Andrew, and Anna, and Anne, and Anne, and Barbara, and Brenda. Oh, and there's Amy. Hello, Amy. Hope Zara as well. Hello to Claire, and Carol, and Dave, and Jill, and Liz, and Ethel, and Fred, to Genevieve, to Jill, and Gillian, and Gina, and Graham, and Helen, and Helga, and Jackie, and Jane, and Janice, and Jenny, and Jill, and Jill, and Joe, and Judith, and Karen, and Kareth, and Kitty, and Leslie. And now the list has started jumping as people are commenting more and more. Hello to Lisa, and Linda, and Maggie, and Marie, and Mary, and Michael, and Mike, and Moira, Nikki, and Nina, Norb. Hello, Rosina, and Ruth. Hello, Stephanie, and Sue, Hello, Mark. Hello, Susanna. Hello, Teresa, Trudy. Hello to Ulla, and Val, and Wendy, and Linda, and anyone else I've missed off. I'm sorry if I've missed you off because you've commented whilst I was talking. There's Jenny as well, and there's Liz, and Claire, and everyone. Just thank you so much. Hello to Adrian. I'm trying to see as this list is refreshing if there's anyone I've missed off. Well, if I've missed you off, hello to Sue Ellen. I've just seen you pop up there. And to everyone, thank you for coming along this afternoon. We have a massive treat here for you today. 5 tracks performed by one of the very greatest choirs in the world. I'm not sure we can entirely say the greatest choir, but they are well up there. This fabulous group, Tenebrae, who have been working with us this year. We are so honoured and so proud to be singing with them. I do recall one of my very, very favourite music teachers saying, if you want to learn how to do, how to sing like the best, you need to sing with the best. And that's why I would always take any opportunity to go on a choral course with any choir that that came locally. And that's how I got to sing with some of the very best choirs in the UK. I particularly remember singing with the Royal Choral Society and with the Royal Philharmonic Chorus and all sorts of amazing groups. Now, you can't ask for a better choir to sing with than Tenebrae. So you're going to learn such a lot just by listening and singing along with their wonderful performances. And that's before we get to this astonishing music, which we're going to be exploring in less than a minute. So everyone, thank you ever so much for getting here early. So we've got hundreds of people online, and I know from Mark we've got at least 500 people on this course. So we're going to have a huge choir, which is exactly what we need for music of this stature. So make sure you've got everything you need for our half-hour session or so. We're going to be warming up, talking about this week. We're going to be singing along or listening, whichever you prefer, to this glorious music. And then that'll be it before we start officially with the learning tomorrow. Make sure you've got a drink. I've got a couple here. I'm going to have a sip of my iced coffee. But I've also got a large drink of water here and would advise you to do exactly the same, everyone. And we will get started. So please do enjoy yourselves. I'm going to thank you very much for your comments, and we're going to go full screen. Wonderful. A very, very good afternoon, folks. It's great to see you. And I do hope that you have been looking forward to this, because, my goodness, we have an amazing set of music for our second week of the summer school. Now, of course, those of you that were with me for the first week, we're looking forward to hearing the results of that very, very shortly. But this week, well, we're taking a trip to Russia, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to learn 5 glorious movements, two of which are by the great Russian composer Rachmaninoff. And you'll know him for his symphonies and his piano concertos. But actually, these are 2 movements from his all-night vigil, commonly known as the Vespers. We're also going to learn this glorious piece by Golovanov, which is called Glory to the Father. And really, I can't say enough about it. It is just so haunting, and the harmonies are so involving. This lovely Slava Otsu Isinu. We're also going to learn 2 pieces by Chesnokov, which translated are We Hymni and Let My Prayer Arise. And this final one is a very special piece because it's been arranged specifically for SIC by our dear friend Mr. Richard Gowers. So huge thanks to Richard. But the main thanks have to go to Tenebrae, our choir for this week, our singers, if you like, who will be singing along with, learning with, and then recording along to some of the very best singers in the world. And we have to thank, with all our hearts, Mr. Nigel Short, the great Nigel Short, who has put all this together for us and has produced an amazing series of pronunciation guides, but more on that in a minute. So, everyone, we're going to, let's talk very briefly about the structure of the week before we dive into the music. Just get the admin out the way. Now, those of you that are signed up for the course will, of course, know that you have the universal link. That's the PDF that we've sent you that has all of the links to everything you need, including your score pack, which is PDFs. It's got the link where you can click and submit the headshot for the photograph. And please do send us in a photograph, folks, because we always produce a wonderful photograph at the end. I always chuckle because everyone's smiling and there's me in the middle catching flies. But, it's a lovely, lovely souvenir of our time together. So you can submit the headshot there. I'm just looking at it myself. You've also got links to all the rehearsals, and in a moment we'll just quickly go through that, make sure everyone knows when and where we are when we're rehearsing. You've got all the track playlists so you can learn in your own time. And I will say, folks, there is going to need to be a little bit of home learning going alongside this for reasons that will become clear once we get started. And of course, the links to the sing through and the subsequent concert performance, which is going to be on the 16th of July. And I already mentioned some wonderful, wonderful pronunciation guides. Now, we're not actually singing in Russian in these pieces, ladies and gentlemen. We're singing in Church Slavic or Church Slavonic, which is the really the language of the Orthodox Church in Russia, but also across Eastern Europe and so on, and in Belarus and in Montenegro and so on. So although there are elements of Russian in it, we're not going to be using actual Russian pronunciation. This is Church Slavic, as I said, and that's what Nigel has very kindly laid out for us in these 5 pronunciation videos, which you can watch in your own time, everyone. All right. So how's everyone doing in the comments? That's great. So now look, when it comes to the structure of the course, of course, we have 4 days of rehearsals starting tomorrow. And so our first rehearsal, I'm just double checking this before I say something entirely wrong. So our first rehearsal is the tenors, and that's tomorrow at 11 a.m. And then we'll have the basses at 3. And then on Tuesday, I'll see the sopranos at 11 and then the altos at 3. And you can see the rest from the Universal link. Now, just to fill you in on how these rehearsals are going to work this particular week. Normally, I'd pop up early, have a bit of a chat, and then start with warm-ups at 11 or 3 o'clock. Now, that's not going to be the case. There's a lot of music to get through, many, many notes indeed, particularly the 5th piece, Richard's arrangement of the Chesnokov. So what we're going to do, and this is a little bit unusual, I'll be popping up early, probably 10-15 minutes before the hour, and I'll welcome everyone, do my sound check, and then we'll do a warm-up. So we can start on the dot of the hour, either 11 o'clock or 3 o'clock. These are all UK time, of course. So please make sure if you need to have a warm-up that you are here in time for that. Obviously, there's no requirement for you to do that. You can pop up on the hour and be assured that we'll be starting on time. And then we'll do our absolute best not to overrun. But there, as I say, is a lot of music. And I think the challenge that we'll be facing for the most part, folks, is just getting our mouths around this Church Slavic. Having said that, it's great fun to sing. All right. Now, I've spoken quite a lot. I think I want to get to a bit of singing. Okay, I'm expecting people to say in the comments, can we sing now? So let's have a look at the first piece. And this is a bit of Rachmaninoff. So if you could all have a look at your packs, we'll do a very, very quick little hummed warm-up in a moment just to get ourselves into the right frame of mind. But this is the first of the 5 that we'll be singing. It's also the first movement in the Vespers, or as I said, the all-night vigil. And it is a call to worship. Come, let us worship. Priidite, poklonimся Carevi naszemu Bogu. Absolutely wonderful words for you to really, as I say, wrap your teeth around. And what I want you to bear in mind is, as we're singing this Rachmaninoff in particular, I want you to have in mind bells. Okay, church bells. And my friend Rob, who's here in the comments, who's a bell ringer, who I understand has been able to actually ring his bells for the first time in 15 months. You're going to particularly like this. Rachmaninoff was hugely inspired by the bells where he grew up. And so this music, if you imagine a call to worship, you'd normally expect tolling bells. Well, this piece of music is just full of big, 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 big chords that just imply clanging bells. Okay, now before we sing, let's have a very, very quick little warm-up. And I would advise you to please keep yourself hydrated throughout this. If you're anywhere near as warm where you are as I am, well, you're going to need to. Let's start now. Let's have an actual piano, I think, England. Let's do that. Okay, lovely. Let's hum together. A nice deep breath. And and again. And for November. And an ooh, and an oh. Lovely. Actually, I feel like a bit of an acoustic. Let's turn that on the sound. There we go. And now let's have after me, please, everyone. Ya ya ya. Lovely. Now da da da. Ya ya ya. Your turn. Lovely. Ma ma ma. Great. Yeah yeah yeah. Splendid. Ya ya ya. Fabulous. Well Well done. That's great. I'm going to mute that. And I think that'll do just for now, ladies and gentlemen, just to warm up the lower ends of our voices. Now, those of you of the lower voice persuasion, not in this one, but throughout the rest of the movements, you will note some very, very low notes indeed. We'll talk more about those in a minute and throughout the week. But I'm going to need the basses in particularly the second basses. You're going to need to be working on these very low notes, and we'll be talking tomorrow, gentlemen, about how we're going to drop you down below the stave and get some of you singing D's, C's, B's, and even an A down there. Okay, we'll see what we can do. So everyone, let's do a little bit. Let's start off with this Priditia Poklonimся. Come, let us worship. So let me give you your chord. So there's the bass, tenor, alto, soprano, and it's, here we go with the wonderful tenebrae. Enjoy, everyone. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Just the most exquisite harmony, the most wonderful, as I've said, orchestral writing, treating the voices as if they're instruments, but not as Handel would have done, giving you lots and lots of tricky figurations. No, it's about creating a thick wall of colour, of timbre. Absolutely wonderful. And just at the end there, just for those who are paying attention, I was talking about bells. Really hear the bells tolling there in that last line. Oh, I can't wait to get stuck into that one. And as I said, that starts the entire program for this week, as well as the Vespers. Wonderful stuff. Now, let's have a look at the next one. People are asking about words on screen. No, we're not showing the words on screen for this one, folks. You can find everything in your packs, so please do read along with the score in your packs, everyone. Okay, now the second piece that we're going to be doing, and the other piece of Rachmaninoff, is Bogorodice Dievo, which is basically Ave Maria, rejoice, O Virgin, Mary full of grace, the Lord is with thee. And this one, I think many people, if you've ever sung any part of the Vespers, it'll be this one. There's a version of this in the, I think it's published by OUP, the European Sacred Music Book, and I've taught it to dozens of groups over the years, and it is a very, very beautiful, very accessible piece to sing. It has some glorious writing. The middle section where the altos go into thirds, and there is just this unison line but in octaves between the tenor and soprano, is absolutely sublime. We've also got some moderately low notes, though we're not heading down into the depths quite yet, second basses. So make sure you keep a lid on those low notes. Now, I'm just going to have a quick sip of drink. Would advise you to do the same, everyone. Lots of people have sung it before, looking forward to it. Well, I've sung it before, but never with tenebrae. So here we go. Here are your notes, everyone. Bass, tenor, alto, and soprano. Note that it's a quiet one, this one, okay? To contrast with Plieditje, which is big and brassy, this one is much, much more gentle. Okay, here we go, everyone. Bogorodice Dievo. Wow. Oh, what a wonderful, wonderful performance. Absolutely beautiful. Do you see what I mean, folks, about that middle section with the altos, with the tenors as well? It's this. Oh, absolutely wonderful. I could just listen to that all day, and I'm so looking forward to teaching that to everyone this week and to hearing. This is the other thing, of course. The wonderful thing about SIC, as I'm sure you know, is that once we've learned it all, you're going to record it for us. We will then mix it for you, and then we can all enjoy on the 16th of July hearing the SIC versions of this. And as I said, with 500 people in the choir, and it's not to say everyone has to record, but if everyone did, can you imagine the wall of sound that we'd have? Absolutely wonderful. So already looking forward to hearing that one. We haven't learned a note of it yet. So do please have a quick sip of drink, and we're going to move into perhaps more unfamiliar territory, but no less beautiful. Cheers, everyone. So now, the third piece in the pack, this is a bit of Golovanov. And he is a composer who was active around the same time as Rachmaninoff. Interestingly, a lot of these pieces were produced, as I'm sure you can imagine, before the Revolution. And in fact, just to quickly refer back to Rachmaninoff, lots of people think of the Vespers, the all-night vigil, as kind of a defining piece, the last piece produced before the Revolution in Russia. And that's not to say they aren't performed today, but things changed an awful lot in Russia after the uprising. So this bit of Golovanov, it has a lot in common with the Rachmaninoff. The harmony is slightly crunchier in a good way, and it has some wonderful, wonderful low notes for the basses. If you just have a look, everyone, at the last page of this one, you'll see that from bar 54, well, they descend all the way down. They do actually have some low notes earlier on, but look at those notes so far below the stave. They need their own lines, and sometimes more than one. So those of you who are second basses, I did see people talk on Twitter about drinking adult beverages. I can't say that's necessarily the way to do it, but I would suggest recording some of these lower parts first thing in the morning, everyone. So now, Slava Otcu i Synu i Sviatomu Duchu. Lovely, lovely words here as well. And this is glory to the Father and to the Son. This is effectively a Gloria by Mr. Golovanov. So let me give you some notes here. So we've got the basses there. We've got the tenor 2, tenor 1, alto, and soprano there. All right, everyone. So there we are. That is, so we're on page 12 of the pack, Slava Otcu. And do enjoy this one. It's really, really lovely. Here we go. Wow. Absolutely phenomenal singing from Tenebrae, and what an amazing piece of music, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Not just the obvious thing to say is in that bass line, just so powerful, but actually the melody line that sopranos get. I mean, altos, you get some glorious lines in this one as well, and the tenors just holding everything together with that just glorious. It's almost like syrup. Just everything just so languid and so glorious. Well done, everyone. I'm really, again, looking forward to teaching that one. You can hear this one, we've got opportunities to play with the tempo. The bottom of the second page, about bar 38, where things start to get really quite animated, and then slower still. Absolutely glorious, everyone. Fantastic. So we that's our third of 5 pieces. Now the next piece, number 4, Ciebie Powiem, is actually quite well known for those of you who are followers of Tenebrae, and you'll hear this one performed quite a lot on the radio. I was looking at Tenebrae's page on SoundCloud the other day, and it's the top track there. This one really is, second basis, you're going to need to be singing this one first thing in the morning, as I've said, because you've got bottom, the first note is the bottom B, which is there. I don't have that at any point. I think usually I only have that when I've got a cold, but I know many of you are really very low basses. As I've said, we're going to be looking at my technique to just drop you down as much as we can. That's that bzzz technique, which we've been looking at various points over the last year, but you're going to need it for this one. And everyone else, you can see this is slow. It's low as well. For sopranos, you see, you don't really climb any more than sort of halfway up the stave. This one is all about the lower voices. So let's have a look at this one. It is just sublime, this bit of Chesnokov. And he as well was a composer who was active during the first half of the 20th century. And so here we go. Here's your notes, everyone. Now I'm going to start from the second basses down there. Let's hear you. I can actually hear that rumble all the way here in Bristol. Well done. Then we've got the first basses, second tenor, first tenor, alto and soprano. Okay, everyone, that chord one more time. A lovely big B minor chord. Okay, here we go, everyone. Enjoy. Ciebie Powiem. Here we go. And... wow. I think it's just going to be a common refrain every time we listen to these pieces. Just going to finish and just say, wow. I mean, just that low pedal note that just rumbles along whilst all these chords just move so gently and so almost so effortlessly, with these tunes that are either actual chants or based on chants from the Orthodox Church, and it's this this sort of descending harmony that just pins all of these pieces together and makes them all seem also beautiful, but also rather mournful, and absolutely lovely. So again, looking forward to teaching that one to all of you, and well, what an honor again, what a privilege to have Tenebrae singing for us. And other people have already spotted these wonderful sounds that carry on at the very end, the shh at the end, or the from the previous movement. You know, this is all absolutely essential and the exact opposite of everything that a British composer, British conductor would necessarily ask you to do. But here we want to really just enjoy every single sound of this Slavonic text. So, folks, we come to the last piece in the set here. So you'll find this one on page 19, and this is a very, very special piece because we had this specially arranged for SIC by our very good friend Mr. Richard Gowers, who's been our accompanist and our organist, and an amazing support to us over the last year. Turns out he's a fantastic arranger as well, so thank you very much indeed for this piece, Richard. Now you'll notice this is quite a long one, folks. It is in terms of pages, it's longer than the others, and actually in terms of time, it's longer. This is one of the reasons why we're going to need to start on the dot of 11 and or 3 when you rehearse with me, just so we can make sure we have enough time to go through everything. Now, just to say on that, just as I've got you all here, please don't think that you have to be completely focused for the entire time, because an hour and a half is a long time to be singing each of these pieces, or to be learning these pieces, but it's going to be worth it, and you can come back anytime you like. All right, so 11 to 12:30, 3 to 4:30 will be the sessions, just as it was with week 1. And if you feel that, you know, I've had enough, it's too hot, for example, it's probably going to be quite hot this week, it's too hot to be singing this low music, you can of course leave it and come back at any point. All right, and we would encourage you to do that, because well, you've got some of the best resources anyone's ever produced for this music. You really have. You'll have my live teaching, you'll have the translations, you'll have Nigel's pronunciation guides, you've got the guide tracks, you've got Tenebrae, you've got everything, really. All right. So I'm going to have a quick sip of drink. And just to notice, sopranos, if you already haven't spotted, the first 3.5 pages, not the hardest music you've sung this year, because you don't sing at all. You come in then about halfway through the 4th page of the piece, and then you sing to the end. But for the first 3.5 pages, it is all about, again, these lower voices, and the altos get this lovely, lovely tune. So cheers, everyone. Let us enjoy this one. So this is Let My Prayer Arise, and again by Chesnokov, but in a completely new edition, never before heard and sung. So very, very honoured to be conducting this premiere, ladies and gentlemen. So alto, you'll notice there, tenor, baritone, that's to say first bass, and second bass. I'll play that from the bottom up: second bass, baritone, tenor, and alto there. Here we go, everyone. Enjoy. Goodness me. What an ending, ladies and gentlemen, from the opening movement of our set of five, Prioditye Poklonimse, that glorious, as I say, tolling of bells, a call to worship, to that sublime ending with just the single bass voice to finish off the program. Now, of course, when we record it, it'll be the first bassist just holding that last note, and we will all be a mass of tingles and possibly tears as well after such an amazing concert. Well, that is our program for the week, folks. It is ambitious without doubt. We have a lot of Slavic to sing in, but the great news is that you have everything you need. You've got the translation, so you know what you're singing, which is always helpful. You've got pronunciation guides from Nigel, who is an absolute expert at this. And so do please listen to Nigel. But if I'm honest, folks, the people I want you to listen to the most are the singers themselves. Use the guide tracks, sing along with them, follow along. How are they pronouncing it? How are they wrapping their mouths around these particular sounds? This one really is going to take a lot of work from all of us before we record, just to make sure we're happy. Because if I'm honest, in terms of notes, actually, we don't have the same level of complexity as we did in terms of pitches in week one, where there were some fairly tricky leaps. And those of you who sang with Messiah, well, this, by comparison, in terms of the pitches, is really quite straightforward. The bass, second bass part notwithstanding. The tricky thing is going to be getting that fluid and fluent Slavic sound, and that takes practice. So do please use all the resources. They are there for you to use, and we really do encourage you to use and enjoy them. So, ladies and gents, we are off. That's our first session of week 2. We're off to the races, and we are now ready, I think, tomorrow to start learning this music. So, as always, everyone is welcome at everything. Please don't in any way be embarrassed about coming along. If you're a soprano that you want to come along to bass rehearsal or tenor rehearsal, you know, everyone is welcome. We love to see you. We love to see you pop up in the comments and to chat and tell us how you are. So do please feel free to come along and keep the comments moving if you like. So that will be, just to say again, tenors, I'll be seeing you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. UK time. Basses, it'll be 3 p.m. Again, tomorrow is forecast to be a very, very hot day. So just have lots and lots of water, preferably with ice, fans, whatever you need to, in order to be able to get through tomorrow's session without melting. I know I shall be. And then sopranos will be then on at 11 o'clock on Tuesday, and the altos at 3. And then it's swaps round, so then it's the basses on Wednesday at 11, tenors at 3, altos at 11 on Thursday, sopranos at 3, and then we're going to have a sing through everyone together at 3 o'clock on Friday, before we ask you to set to and record, and then that concert performance on the 16th of July. So everyone, thanks again for coming along this afternoon, and huge thanks one more time. I know you'd want me to thank Nigel and Tenebrae, to thank Richard for his wonderful arrangements, to thank Connor for mixing all of these tracks. These didn't arrive from Tenebrae as mixed as you've heard them. Connor has done a lot of work to mix and get them sounding wonderful and together, and to produce all these one voice louder parts. So at risk of this turning into the Oscars, we have a huge number of people to thank for this. So thank you, everyone. Can't wait to get started. And as always, look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Have a great Sunday, everyone. Take care. And do svidaniya. See you.